Muted. There we go. My apologies. Microphone was muted. Yes. So I have with me the energy of Sanat Kumara today, and he's going to be discussing the difference between the truth from the lies. He's really disconcerting for him that so many people are believing that what is the truth is a lie and what is a lie is the truth. And he says it has to be addressed or human confusion will simply get worse and worse. We'll discuss that a little bit more. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Hi, Joel. Hello, Hassan. Hi, guys. Hi, Lauren. Good morning. Hi, Carolyn. Yeah. Hello on TikTok. I don't have a device that I can look at it, but I will be able to take questions from TikTok a little later as we get through this process. But aren't you guys grateful to be alive on this beautiful planet today? We are all wonders of creating consciousness, right? That's what we are. Wonders of creating consciousness. Consciousness creating whatever it focuses its attention upon. And whatever you focus your attention upon, you are creating right now. If you focus on your suffering, you're going to get more of that. You focus on your joy, you're going to get more of that. And as a spiritual medium, just for those of you that are new here, I channel many multidimensional beings, ascended masters, divine beings, guardian angels, people on the other side who have left the physical dimension. And it's a pretty amazing time for all of us because every single human being in this physical dimension has the capacity to learn how to access information beyond the framework of what you think you know. You know, what you've been taught by the world is a little tiny box of information that comes under the category of your personality, who you think you are, or who the world has told you to think you are. You're Johnny, you're Elizabeth, you're George, you're Peter, you're Mary. That's just the identity that's been stamped on to your body and mind. And one of the functions of the Ascended Masters in coming through me at this time and through many others is to help people break free from the confines that the personality puts us in so that we don't have to be limited and restricted to the beliefs that we've been given by our upbringing, our environment, our books, our teachers, our parents, not to be limited by that framework of information called your personality. There is a way to get past that information into a realm of information that's a realm what was relative to what you think you know, the realm of the unknown. The realm of the unknown contains much more information, much more opportunity, much more creative potential than what you do know currently. I'm also told all the time that every human being knows that they are not designed to suffer. Every human being knows that there's more to their life than what they are currently experiencing because the personality restricts most people from seeing beyond that. So it's our hope that by giving these weekly messages Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, that you will gain the wisdom and the knowledge and the experience to begin to shift your consciousness out of the confines, out of the prison of your personality and into the liberated consciousness of what you truly are as a spiritual entity, a spirit of universal light, a soul, S-O-U-L, spirit of universal light. That's what you are. That's what we all are in this physical dimension. Now, when he came to me this morning, he said, it's important that you understand the foundation of this. And again, the foundation of what is true and what is false is very important. He said, and what's happening today is many people have been led to believe that what is true is false and what is false is true. And so there's great confusion and uncertainty in human collective unconsciousness. Even in those who are supposed to be your leaders, they believe their own lies are true and their own truths are lies, and they are misled equally. And the only way, he said, to get out of that is to learn to differentiate yourself from the information that you're being presented, to learn to evaluate it from a place other than what you know, to evaluate information from a feeling place. He said to learn to evaluate information from a feeling place, not a thinking place. From a feeling place, he says, you're more likely to discern between the truth and the lie. He said really simple ways of recognizing, he says, for those of you that are seeking peace, put down your arms. For those of you who are seeking prosperity, put down your spending. For those of you that are seeking love, put down your attacks. You cannot find what you seek if you do not know what it is you are looking for. You have to understand that there is a distinction between what you are thinking and what you are knowing, and that feeling place allows you to begin to know the truth that you know, not the truth that you've been taught to think. What you've been taught to think may or may not be true on one realm, but not necessarily true on others. He says it's really important that you learn to distinguish yourself from your thoughts, to make a distinction between yourself and your thoughts. And something that's been said quite repeatedly to me over and over again from these masters is that most of your thinking, most of what you call your thinking anyway, isn't thinking at all. Most of your thoughts aren't even yours. Many of the thoughts that you have are thoughts you've acquired from this world, therefore they're thoughts of the world. The authentic self begins to re-emerge when you begin to observe and question the validity or the truth of your thoughts. And you cannot know the validity of something until you can evaluate it properly. Hi guys, good morning. So he was like really insistent in the meditation. He was very clear when he said, the people that are seeking peace must put down their war. They must put down their weapons. They must sit in peace. If you want peace, then be at peace. If you want happiness, then stop arguing. If you want joy, then stop your suffering. It is very simple. If you wish to eliminate your debt, then stop spending your monies. Do not buy that which you cannot afford. You must understand that the function of debt is a violation of divinity. The function of debt is a violation of divinity. Divine law, natural law, has no debt. Natural law has no debt. It has an abundance far beyond the range and scope of what can be consumed or what is needed. That is the way it was designed. So the function of debt is a violation of law, a violation of what is true. If you come to the awareness of this, then you can recognize that there are many ways in which you can begin to realign yourself with this function of abundance. Namely, stop spending your money where you do not have money to spend, and stop doing things that you cannot afford to do. It gets very simple. Many of you are acquiring things that are absolutely unnecessary. There are many things that you are acquiring and inventing that are not necessary. And you might tell yourself that they are necessary, but you must understand that simplicity is the function of nature. The economics of nature is that it always provides everything that is needed, and that is without human interference. There is always enough provided. It is when you seek to think that you are greater than that which beats your heart right now that you run into confusion. And your confusion can be eliminated fairly quickly. All you need to do is do only those things that you know that are right for you to do. But how can you know what is right for you to do when you've been told that certain things are right for you to do that aren't necessarily? You would support those that repeatedly lie to you. You would even give them your shirt and your clothing because they simply tell you they need it. And this is silliness. You give money to those that do not represent you. You support those that do not represent you, believing the lie is the truth. And that what they tell you as a lie, they tell you as if it is the truth. You must understand that distinction. Listen very carefully to them. Listen with your feeling, not with your thinking mind, not with your body, but with your feeling, with your soul. Listen and feel with your soul, because your soul knows the truth of the truth, not the truth of the mind, the truth of the body. They are very different truths. The truth of the body is one thing, the truth of the mind is another, and the truth of your soul is another still. Each has its place, its space, its time, but each can be weighed against itself by the effects that it produces. What one may say is the truth will affect things very specifically as a manifestation. You have many of your leaders that say, we want to get rid of your debt. We will get rid of your debt, but your debt gets bigger, and still you continue to believe the lie is the truth. They say they will give more peace and create more peace, and yet there is war. They say they will help end your suffering, but your suffering increases. And you still place your faith in the lies as if they are the truth. How then can you find peace? How then can you find love? How can you find joy if the truth is a lie and the lie is a truth? You must understand this, that those who would lead, and that what their words and their deeds would match quite precisely. There would be no deviation. They would say there would be no debt, and there would be no debt. We will only spend what we have. We will only do what we can. But they would use sweet sounding words to you to convince you that what they are saying is the truth. And in your trust, they depend. You do not depend in theirs. They depend upon your trust. And they understand that if they use specific words and say specific things, that you will believe them, even if you feel that it is not true. And so you've been convinced over many years that the lies are truth and the truth are lies. But the evidence would say otherwise. While you create great vast cities, only but a handful benefit from the full bounty of what is measured. Understand, there is great bounty for all of you here in this physical dimension. There is great bounty for all of you here in this physical dimension. But if you pay close attention to evidence, you can see clearly that those who tell you they will do service to you and for you, and it has not been rendered, are obviously telling a lie. Those who speak of peace go to war, and those who are at war ignore peace. And yet the very simple act of peace is to take no violent action towards one another. So why then is this perpetuated, and for what reason? For what reason? Whom gains from your suffering? You know the answer to this, but you scratch your head wondering, what do we do about this? For those that are in leadership positions are supposed to do your bidding. They are supposed to serve you like a shepherd guarding a flock, but they do not do this. And you suffer more and more. And this is not your doing, it is their doing, their deception. So you will see by evidence what is true and what is false, and you will know if you feel what is said, if it is true or if it is false. You will know by what you feel if you hear the truth. You will know by what you see if it is true. If they say, oh, we will clear up our debt, and there is no debt, then they speak the truth. So they lie to you, and you believe them, but you know in your heart that it is not true. Why then do you continue to support these ones? Why then do you believe them if they lie to you? When evidence shows very clearly, when your cities burn and bombs fall, and they all say, we want peace, and they both say, we want peace, and yet the bombs continue to fall, somebody is lying to you. And who would that be but those that are dropping the bombs, and those that are claiming from the treetops and from their towers that they wish peace, but there is still war. Those who claim that they want you to be a thriving and healthy society, but you continue to suffer. You continue to have more disease. You continue to have more difficulty. By their fruits you know them. By their fruits you know them. And yet they have ensnared you with your own dependence upon them. And this is not a fault upon your part. They have established ways and means of training you that you would naturally succumb to their manipulations. their education, their training, their teaching of you trains you to succumb to their lies as if they're the truth, to believe what they believe without question. And yet it is time now to awaken, for there are those that are here among you now that will speak to you the truth, that will demonstrate the truth, and by their actions you will know them. You will know them by their actions and their results, not by their words, not by their words alone. From feeling, one may speak to you, and you can know if they speak the truth. Understand, this is very important. When I came to this one today, it was to simply give you an understanding that you possess within you the knowledge to know the truth, and that the truth is what does set your consciousness free from the prison of illusion, of your personality, of what you've been made to be that you are not. And yet in the place where you are being what you're not, you suffer, and you know that your suffering is not natural nor normal to you. It is not your natural state to suffer. It is your natural state to flourish, to grow, to evolve, to become your best expression of your being while in this physical dimension. Why then would you accept the restrictions of anybody else, that you should be what they would demand you to be, that you should do what they demand you to do, that you should think what they demand you to think? It is very important you awaken yourself to this realization. The amplification in existing energies that are coming into your collective unconsciousness are very potent right now. The energies that are coming into your collective unconsciousness is very potent right now, that you may create more effectively, more immediately with the energy that is available to you now. So that which is good can be very good, and that which is evil can be very evil. But there will be no neutral place in all of this. There will be no place where there is what you would call safety. There is the responsibility of creating, the responsibility of thinking, the responsibility of doing, and what these things will yield in the experience of your species. You did not come here to suffer. You all came here to create and to understand the function of creation, and that your function of creation over time, space, and matter is far more extensive than you realize presently, although it is very easy to recognize that you can make your body do things and walk around and talk around. It is a small demonstration of how you can interact with matter. So the scope and degree that you can influence the process of creation is far greater than what you've been taught to believe. And there are many here on this world now that will teach you and lead you to that function of understanding, so that you know you are not simply a collection of thoughts and memories and emotions, that you're not simply just a physical body, that you're not simply a collage of emotions, that you are this being of light, of consciousness, of creation, that is utilizing 4 different mediums of energy to coordinate a process of creation. The realm of thought, the realm of emotion, the realm of matter, the realm of time and space. These are the realms that you work with, time and space being interchangeable in this dimension. So we consider them as one. So you have these 4 dimensions that you can utilize, articulate in the function of your creating. And you must understand that the function of creation begins in thought, in image, in idea, which is then supported by energy or emotion, which is then supported by action. Action always follows from an emotional impetus stimulated by yourself or stimulated through yourself by another means or agency that is interfering with you, in flowing through you, such as your leaders, who say they will lead you to joy and happiness, to better health, and yet evidence would indicate the opposite is true. but you have it within you to be the divine healer of your body, to be clear and at peace in your consciousness, that you are not indeed subjective to the dictates of what the world has told you to believe is true exclusively. There is so much more to you, so much more to you than this body, than the words, than the memories, than the emotions. They have their place in the function of creation, but only when they're governed by the authority of your own consciousness, and that authority that you possess is not subjugated to those, that you understand the proper position in the hierarchical structure of your consciousness, in that your body is subservient to emotions, which is subservient to thoughts, which is subservient to your consciousness. And there, in this chain of causation, the deliberate function of creation can take place. But if you subjugate yourself, you place yourself as subjective to thought, as subjective to emotion, as subjective to your biology, then the function of creation is very different and often not as pleasing as it can be when it is deliberately articulated through your consciousness. The truth of who you are can only be realized by letting go of what you know, what you think you know, to begin to re-experience yourself as the limitless, loving, and intentionally creating intelligence that you are. That you are. It is what you are. To not surrender your creating capabilities to any other, but to recognize that you have that within you, that there are sources of information that are true and there are sources of information that are false, both within you and around you. But you can always discern the difference between what is true, what is false, what is right, what is less right. You can always discern the difference from the energy of feeling, which you as awareness full well know. If you pay attention, you will know that you can feel if something is true or something is false. And this becomes very valuable in whom you should trust and whom you should not trust. It is important to understand that as you gain familiarity with the nature of what you truly are and you begin to assume authority over your creative process, then your subjectivity to the conditions of this world will be significantly reduced. And your function of creation will be significantly increased. And when you understand that you have the ability to alter and change conditions of your experience, what joy would you have then to know that you have the function to create and alter the conditions that you find yourself in as a function of your consciousness intentionally and deliberately? Is that not the truth? That you have that authority? Those of you that hear these words will hear these words when you understand that your authority over your thought, your authority over your emotions, your authority over your biology, when you recognize that authority, you are a creating intelligence. And that the alteration in your thinking, the alteration in your feeling, the alterations in your biology that match and correspond to the thinking you deliberately choose as a consequence of knowing what you will produce when you think a certain thought or you hold to a certain idea. That becomes freedom when you understand that you are capable and able to articulate changes in your existing conditions as a function of your own creative consciousness and not the function of someone else's dictates. That you are fully capable of creating the consciousness and the conditions that will manufacture the changes in your experiential realm of this dimension. What you experience in this physical world is a product of your own creative process and not to be left to the whims and wishes of others. You came here to learn to be functionally creative, intentionally and deliberately. Remember this, you are a creating intelligence. It is who and what you are. Do not let anyone convince you of anything other than the truth. What else would you want to be convinced of other than the truth. But understand that you must learn to make that distinction between what is true and what is not true, what is right and what is less right. Understand in your ability to acquire that skill in consciousness, that of discernment, then that process of discernment will loan itself to you becoming more conscious. Do I do this or do I do this? Do I think this or do I think this? Do I go here or do I go here? There is a place inside you that knows these things. There is a place inside you that knows the things you need to think, the words you need to speak, the acts you need to do that are best in alignment with who and what you are here to be creatively and deliberately. So pay close attention to what is true and what is not true. Listen carefully to those who would tell you that they are speaking the truth to you. Pay close attention to what you feel more than what those thoughts are. For it could be argued that any thought could be considered true, but when applied to the function of creation in this physical dimension, it is not true. One who says, I will reduce your debts, and proceeds to spend money is clearly not articulating the truth of that word. And you all know this. You all know this. And you can only be taken advantage of. You can only be taken advantage of if you do not understand the distinction between the truth and what is not true. And so learning to recognize you already possess within you the ability to feel the truth of what you hear, to know the truth of what is done. For those who would speak of peace and go to war are lying to you. Those who would speak of improving your life but demonstrate nothing of a sort are lying to you. Those who say they will give you more health and yet you see more disease, they are lying to you. Those who would say to you they would give you more abundance but you have less are lying to you. It is very easy to see because the effect in your experience of time and space will tell you the truth ultimately. If you do not recognize the truth in your own consciousness, then you will certainly recognize the lie when it appears in your experience, or the truth if it appears in your experience. You know, I was told multiple times that this is not the first time I've been told that yes, I will. I've been told that debt is an aberration. It's a complete contradiction to natural law. Debt, lack, limitation. They're violations of law. When we get disconnected from who and what we really are, we go into violations of law, which is suffering, pain, debt, sadness. Anytime we're living a lie, it causes suffering. Anytime we're living the truth, it causes happiness and fulfillment. I want to thank Sanat Kumara for being present with us today. Yes, we will take a couple of questions. And wonderful. Hello on YouTube. Yes, hello, Let Go My Ego. Hi, lots of people here. Hi, Mary, Melody, Drusilla, Christopher. Yes, got a question from Sunny. I saw a lot of flashes over the air today. Who was it? Thank you. Again, there's a group that call themselves Ashtar Command and another group called the Galactic Federation, right? The two of them work together. They are in conjunction with a group of the Pleiadians. There are also many beings that are coming from other star systems and other dimensions. They're converging here. You know, higher evolved beings respond to a call for love. You know, every single human interaction is either a call for love or an extension of love. Humanity collectively, more or less, is predominantly in a state of fear, which is why you see war. It's why you see more poverty. It's why you see more mental disease, because humanity is predominantly moving from love to fear. And as we do that, we issue a call as a collective species. We're issuing a call for more love. We're asking for love because we have not learned how to cultivate for ourselves. And all these beings are coming to give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that we can reorient ourselves collectively. And so these energies are coming from many different levels. People are calling it the Ascension movement, but it's a vibration of energy coming into our planetary system that originates from the universal center to the galactic center to the centers of the various star systems in the galaxies. Very important to understand that these energies cannot be created or destroyed. They can only be changed from one state to another, and they have a function of either being positive or being negative. So a lot of the energy is coming in now, and I know I've been feeling a lot, getting more, finding I have to get more sleep because there's more energy coming in. Get more sleep, get more rest, get more water. All these things contribute to allowing you to integrate these energies. But the Galactic Federation, Astral Command, and many others are actually working with humanity collectively. There are other beings and other species on this planet that also work with humanity in trying to elevate our consciousness up. But ultimately, we have to do the lifting. At some point, we have to actually shift our consciousness and say, we're done with these ideas of fear. We're done with these ideas of sickness. We're done with these ideas of death. We're done with these ideas of not having. We are a creating intelligence, and we can learn to create deliberately and intelligently and consciously, collectively. So if we can shift our collective unconsciousness from fear to love, it's going to really make a big difference. But that's the flashes of light you're seeing. We actually saw them last year too, flying in a ship up over Lake Ontario at Ashbridges Bay. It was pretty amazing. It was there, and then they were just gone. It's fascinating to watch that. It's the second time we've seen a ship in the last 2 years. Shining Light Discovery is asking, my son and I heard knocking. Who was that? You've got a grandfather that's really interested in helping your son. He's on the other side. That is who this was. It is the grandfather you have on your father's side that is communicating energetically through to your son. Yes. He's saying he's very bright. Very, very bright. He's gonna be full of surprises for you. Question from Mary: will I play a role in my granddaughter's life? You already are. You already are. You see, many of you consider that your experiences of time and space are bound by flesh, not recognizing that your consciousness towards this one plays a role in guiding them. Even the mere thought of that other individual forms a connection in energy to them that you can influence them regardless of the chasms of time and space. You can and do influence others with your thinking and your feeling, irrespective of the conditions of time and space in which they are relative to yourself. So know that you are doing this even now. The enthusiasm and the love that you feel in earnest to do this is already influencing and affecting them right now. Wow. Question from TikTok. Hi, Cage. Hello. Can you connect with my grandfather? Yes, I can. He's wondering, what would you like? Something, he's showing me like a little metal box. It's like a blackish, bluish, metallic box. I don't know what this is, but it's like it's a tiny box. It's about 6 inches around and 4 inches wide. And it's about 2.5 inches deep. And there's something in this box for you. There's something in that. Yeah, it's a little metallic. It's like a bluish black steel. And the edges of the box are more brassy looking. Yeah, and it's like 2 inches high, 6 inches long, and 4 inches. Length is 6, depth is 4 inches. But it's a blackish blue steel box, and there's something inside that for you. He wants you to know that, whatever that is. So if you know where that box is, or have heard of that, or somebody you know has that box, please, there's something in there for you, and I hope you connect to that. Question from Yes. Hi, Alan. Will our house sell the first or second offer? I'm getting a no. I'm being told that the third offer is when it will sell, and it will be the better offer. Yeah, it will be the third one will be the better offer. And get excited. I'm being told to tell you, be excited. Be excited about this. Not simply to wonder, but to be excited about this. Be excited. Yeah, you must understand the nature of your excitement, the nature of your fear, do very different functions of creation in your experience. Get very excited about this, and you will be quite surprised at what you see. Hi, Gemma. A question from Gemma on TikTok. I feel like I'm in my path. How do we know if we are doing the right? Is it just feeling? He says you will understand that even feeling will correspond to specific thoughts. You can hear a thought and it will not feel right, but always from the feeling. The feeling will be in alignment with all levels. The function of emotion is that it binds all things in the function of creation. So what you would think, weigh what you think to what you feel, not to what you remember. Many of you will try to take what you have heard today and you will try to use what you remember as a way of being able to discern what is true or what is false, but you'll be confused because what you remember is mostly false. What is here and now is true. If you come to the understanding that feeling is not based on your past or what you remember or what you would anticipate. Feeling is based in this present moment, here and now. That feeling in the now, you will know the truth of a thing. If you try to know the truth of a thing from what you remember, then what you remember will influence what is the truth. If you try to know what the truth is from anticipating what might be to come, then what might be to come in your mind's eye will influence the truth of what is now. But if you are exclusively in the present moment and you think a thought, is this true? Or you listen to someone and you can feel if this is true from the present moment, not from what you remember, not from what you anticipate, but from here, from now. It is here and now that you will know the truth. And it is from here and now that you will be set free. Wow, thank you so much. A question from Let Go My Ego. I have a court case tomorrow. Any advice on how I can transcend this situation? I've learned my lesson. Thank you. The first thing I'm being told to tell you, this is one of your guardian angels. He said you've been at this for a while now, and it's time to surrender it in earnest. He's saying first you need to release all of your fear. You must release all of your fear and your anticipations based upon that fear. Align yourself to gratitude that the best possible outcome for all those involved is your objective here. That the best possible outcome for all involved is the best focus you need to consider. Get yourself centered in the feeling of the best possible outcome for all parties involved. Let that be the energy you go into this event with. And what will occur may not be quite what you anticipate, but it will be the right thing for you, and your suffering will not be long. Stay in the vibration of gratitude. That this gratitude be for yourself and all others involved. All others involved. For there are many that are involved that you are unfamiliar with or unaware of, as there are in every situation. Yes. But surrender the fear and be in gratitude. Grateful for the best outcome for all involved. Be in that energy, and you'll find that it will be much easier for you to go forward in that. Thank you so much. Question from Lauren. Am I right to be suspicious about cousin and my boyfriend. What I'm getting there is, again, if you choose to hold on to fear, what then would you have? If you chose to hold on to love, what then would you have? The very nature of fear is its function of creation is very different than the function of love. And what you would say and what you would do are very different in the function of love than it is in fear. You must understand that creation in this dimension requires that you have several elements of creation in the process. That is the thinking part, the emotional or energy part, and then the action impetus. But if you have great concern about this and you need to allay your concern from an outside means, then you would simply go up to them and say, is there something I need to be concerned about? And you will know the truth. You will know the truth. And if you fear the truth, then why would you want to know it? The truth is not to be to fear. The truth is to be embraced. Yes. Understand that what you are moving towards is your highest experience of life, not your lesser experience. You are moving towards something greater in your life, not away from something greater in your life. You must understand that what will come will be greater, because that is your desire. That is your clarity. That is your intention. And would you fear change if you knew this? Would any of you fear change if you knew that you had a greater outcome in mind for yourself, that things can change because that greater outcome can come into your life then? Be mindful of that truth. It will save you much time and give you much more joy and much more exciting anticipation. Hi, John. Question for John. I have a feeling work will move me from Toronto to the US. Any idea where or when? Thank you, sir. The first thing that pops into my consciousness is Florida. And then I get Florida, and then it swings over to Texas. Like literally, I see Florida, like a map of Florida, and then I see a line going from Florida to Texas. And then I see a movement from Texas to a state called Nevada. And then I get one from Nevada going over to the state they call New York. And then it completes again back down to Florida. So I'm seeing this, like that's the box that I'm being shown, and they're showing me clear line clearly from Florida to Texas to Nevada to New York. And that's this box of movement, 4 different points in the box. That's what I'm getting. Please let us know. Anybody who gets an answer here, please share with us your experience, your feelings, your sensations, and also leave questions and comments in the videos afterwards. For those of you that are on TikTok, if I didn't get to your questions today, thank you so much for your questions. I really appreciate them. Just place your questions below the pinned video on my TikTok channel. And those of you that followed me today, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And those of you that had comments or concerns that were of a distressing nature, I want to send you much love. We are here to learn to create. We have a wonderful time as a species to learn to live in love or to learn to live in fear. That's what it's all about right now, love or fear. And take one more question from YouTube, and away we go. Oh yes, I was so happy to see this question from Northern Lights. Any messages for me from my guides? It is important that you share the wisdom and knowledge of the Nagas. You must not keep this wisdom and knowledge to yourself, but share the wisdom and knowledge of them. It is that time. There is no time to let your personal considerations get in the way of something that is so much bigger than you can imagine. We exist with you and through you, as we do with many others, but each offering, each vehicle allows a different element of information to flow through it. You must be willing to allow it or not. You will not be forced, but we will give you this word of encouragement to step forward in the transmission of the messages of the Nagas. Wow. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. If any of you guys want to know more about mediumship and what it really, really is, it's not some mystery, airy, fairy, ooh, it's a real function of your consciousness. You are not bound by the world of the 5 physical senses. You have these other senses of clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, and claircognizance that you can learn to develop. The same way you learn to develop touching and smelling and tasting, they had to be developed. Thinking and speaking, they had to be developed. Walking, they had to be developed. These internal senses, which are non-physical senses, can also be developed. And again, if you want to explore that, join us for our 101 Masterclass, which begins in March, where you'll get introduced to learning how to cultivate or reawaken those dormant senses. And for some of you that are hyper empathic or hypersensitive, it's really important you understand that there's nothing wrong with you, that you simply have a higher level of functioning on a different frequency. You perceive thought and emotion from other people very differently than others. Those who have these senses, these internal senses already open, are more influenced and affected than they realize, but they don't have to suffer from it. You can learn to manage your senses, just like you learn to manage touch, taste, smell, walking, talking, picking things up. You had to teach your body to do all these things. You need to train your senses, your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, your clairsentience, your claircognizance. You have to train your consciousness to not be subjective to the emotional energies that people are transmitting out all the time. Anyway, you can come join us for our 101 Masterclass. It starts March the 4th of this year. And I highly encourage you. This course will be life-changing. And for those of you that want to experience the communication of the Ascended Masters, your guides, your angels, other multidimensional beings, you can always book a reading with me through my website, williammichaelforbes.com. And I hope that you'll do that, because it's pretty amazing when you have a one-on-one conversation with an Ascended Master, a Jesus or a Buddha or your guardian angel or your mom or your dad or your brother, your sister. It's pretty amazing and pretty profound what can happen. And it's all recorded, so you have a chance to have a replay, so you have the whole session immediately available to you after it's been done. Again, I want to thank everybody for participating. I want to thank my YouTube subscribers, my Patreons. I'm so grateful for your support. If you want to support the channel, you can do so through my Patreon page, patreon.com/William Michael Forbes. You can also support the channel by using the super chat features on YouTube. You can also use my PayPal if you want to make a spontaneous donation. We give away 10% of everything comes into a group called Our Underground Railroad, which is an organization that helps rescue children from the human trafficking element, sex slave trade, etc. And we're big supporters of them. And I want to wish you all much love. Have yourselves a wonderful, joyful day. And I will look forward to seeing you guys on Friday's Q&A, which is all time for you guys to ask your questions and answers. And of course, you never know who's going to come through as well. So have yourselves a wonderful and a joyful day. And I look forward to seeing all of you on Friday. Bye for now.